What's going on? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics, and up next we have got an awesome unboxing here, some raw books, graded book, one book that is a new keeper book for me. Really excited for these. Let's check these out. Alright, so before we get started, please remember to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. So, got a pretty big unboxing video here. I had a few boxes that had backed up that I hadn't opened yet. Two of these boxes have one book in them. One of those is a keeper book. The other box has, remember, maybe about 5 books, something like that in it, this one. And some great books in that one too. But before we get into these, got to talk about the sponsor of this video, Fanalytics. If you're a follower of my YouTube and Instagram channels, you know that having accurate and comprehensive data to make my comic buying, selling, and investing decisions is extremely important to me. Fanalytics has exciting plans for the future to provide the most accurate and up-to-date sales data as well as predictive models to help collectors make the best decisions with their hard-earned money. Keep an eye on my YouTube and Instagram channels for more announcements and dedicated content in the future, so make sure to subscribe to their Instagram for future announcements and click the link in their profile to register for beta access. The link to their Instagram is in the description of this video. All right, so we are back. Now, I'm going to start with this gigantic box here. So I thought this one was kind of funny because when I purchased the book, they asked, if I wanted it shipped in, I think kind of like a regular priority box, or if something with larger with more protection. And I said it was like an extra $10, and I was like, hey, yeah, go for the larger box. So it ends up being this huge box, and there's just one raw book in here. Now this was not a cheap book, so that was why I was willing to pay the extra for the the larger box, just to hopefully make sure that everything arrives here safely. This is a pretty expensive raw. This is actually a, what would this be? This is a Bronze Age book, kind of a late Bronze Age book. It's one that I've talked about recently. Actually, one that I had said I personally, would be cautious around because I felt like prices were dropping, and I still felt like this was a great price on it. So yes, I do feel like prices were dropping on this book, and that's one thing that we've seen. But the other side of that is, if you see something that you feel like is a great price, you go for it. And so I felt like this is a great price, a really tough book to get, a unique opportunity to pick this one up. And I'll cut right back. I just want to make sure I get this thing out safe because it's got kind of like a bag around it, and there's some tape there, and I just want to make sure I don't accidentally nick the book.
2,000 years later.
Okay, so we are back. I actually moved it to a different bag and board. I just want to make sure that this one is safe because, like I said, it is a very expensive book. This one is also quite rare. It's one of the more rare Bronze Age books that you're going to come across. It's not a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, but it's kind of close. This is Cerebus #1. This is the first appearance of Cerebus the Aardvark. This is an extremely tough book to come across. This one is very, very nice. It has this color break, little crease up there that's probably about, I don't know, 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch, maybe 5/8 of an inch. But the rest of the book is very, very clean. It's got a bend there that I think will press out pretty well. It's got a little bit of spine wear, a couple spine ticks, but overall a very nice presenting copy of this book. Now, one of the things that you have to be very cautious with this book is that there are counterfeits that are out there. Very similar to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, when you have a book like this that's pretty rare, very expensive, there were counterfeits that were made. Now, for this one, you can go search online, and there's some help guides on how to identify the counterfeits. This is a real copy, and one of the things that you really focus on if you want to identify the counterfeit is on this guy right down here that has all these little red dots in his armor or whatever, skin, whatever you want to call it. And so on the counterfeits, there tends to be a shift in the red, where it's, I'll if I can find that picture from the website, I'll throw it up here, and where it doesn't, the solid red doesn't align with like his shoulder, and it's kind of like offset inside of like the arm or his shoulder. and you can see here it doesn't have that. So this is definitely an original, and yeah, I'll do the page count and all that kind of stuff later. But I'm going to definitely be washing my hands and all that when handling this, because this is a very nice copy. This is a very rare book for the Bronze Age, and it's one of these kind of awkwardly shaped books, very similar to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. It goes into a magazine-sized case. That's why it's in this magazine bag and board, but it's a little smaller. Like I had some extras left over from when I bought that big Vampirella collection. Luckily I did, so I transferred it over into here just so I feel a little safer with it. But yeah, Cerebus #1, a very solid presenting copy of this book, a very tough book, and like I said, one that you just need to be cautious about when you're talking about picking this book up, because you could accidentally pick up a counterfeit, which is worth a lot less than this one. But yeah, really cool book to pick up. I was very happy to be able to grab that copy, because just something that you just do not come across, especially raw like that. I really haven't had too many opportunities to pick up a book like that, and it got so expensive over the last couple of years that I was recommending to people to wait for those prices to start correcting, and I've seen those prices starting to correct, so I felt like this was a good opportunity to pick that one up. All right, next I'm going to go over this book here, which this one is the new Keeper book for me, and if you follow me on Instagram, I actually had another copy of this book that was a Keeper book for me for quite a while, and it ended up getting kicked off the Keeper list. That one was not an easy decision to move from the Keeper list, but I kicked it off the Keeper list, and then I sold it, and then about 2 days later, this book popped up, and it was a higher grade copy, and I made an offer, and offer was accepted, so now I have it back on my Keeper list. So this one is quite a bit higher grade than my other one. And another book that, actually the funny thing with this one, I picked this one up from Polanski. If you're on Instagram, he has just some crazy books, some incredible books. A lot of his sales that he's been doing over the last, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so have been focused on pulps. But he used to do a lot of comic sales, and he did a comic sale again, and he posted this book kind of like as one of the advertisements for the sale, and I reached out and bought it before the live sale happened. The funny thing is that I actually bought my first copy from him as well, and so I bought that first copy, sold that one recently, and now this is a upgraded copy that is going back onto the Keeper list. So this is Underworld Crime #7, and for me, this is one of the best covers of the Golden Age. I mean, especially crime cover, like hands down, one of the best crime covers, but overall to me, one of the best covers. And the thing that really sells it is whoever did the coloring for the cover, just like the lighting from from like this hot iron, that they're threatening to burn her with on her face, and just all of the coloring with it, like the looks on this guy's eyes as I'm assuming what's going on is they are torturing her to get to this guy. Just a super creepy cover, and it's got those multiple elements that I talk about. It's got the attractive woman, the good girl art cover, you've got the kind of like the bondage torture cover, and then you've got just a fantastic cover in itself. Just the quality of the art, the quality of the coloring. The thing that's unfortunate with it is that they don't know who actually did the cover for this one. There's no recognized artist for this cover. When you go to the Grand Comics database, they don't have anybody that is recognized as the cover for this. I believe they have someone with a question mark, but it's not known, which is too bad. But yeah, I think this is just one of the best covers from the Golden Age. And this one has that, we've talked about that before, that CVA sticker on it, which indicates that it apparently looks good for the grade. And I'd say it does present really well. It presents. My last copy was a 3.0. This is a 5.5. 5.5 is a very nice grade for this book. There was one that sold relatively recently, but it went low in my opinion because it had a big bonnet stamp right in the middle, and that really detracted from the cover. This one doesn't have anything like that. It just has this this little probably distributor mark or something like that on there. But yeah, really cool cover. I will probably get this one re-slabbed. I don't think I'm going to try to go for a higher grade. I don't know. I mean, it's possible. It's possible it could maybe do a little better. You can see it looks like it hasn't been cleaned or anything. I mean, this is definitely one of the older CGC cases. It's got the serial number that starts with a 0, which means this was quite a long time ago that this one was graded. And, you know, there are some things that could potentially be improved on it, but do I think it could get above a 5.5? If it could, it would be worth it. I don't think it would get lower than a 5.5. But there's always that risk, and this is a very expensive book to get graded. This would be a walkthrough, so there's a lot of costs that goes with that when you're talking about trying to get a book like this resubmitted. But yeah, no, I mean, super cool cover, great colors on this one, no big like detracting flaws on it or anything like that. You know, there's like this little, there's like a little crease kind of in tear down there, but overall, really nice copy of this. And or you can get the the talking parakeet on the back. But yeah, really excited about this one. Back on the keepers list. Was only off it for a little while, but yeah. So I say sometimes, like, I mean, even with these rare books, they will come up for sale again. You know, I know sometimes it can be really tough to let go of those Golden Age books, but you know they do periodically come up for sale. So I was really excited about that one. New keeper book for me. Now the last thing here. This was from an Instagram live sale, and I picked up a number of books. There's a mix of stuff in here. I don't even remember everything that I bought. Like I said, I think it was about 5 books, something like that. There were a couple pre-code horror books in here that I picked up. One that I was really surprised to see it for sale. I mean, it's just a book from a run that you do not see very often. And so I was really excited to see that one pop up for sale. All right, let's get these out of here. Everything is packed well. And all right, so let's see how many books are in here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. So there might be 7 in here. So give me a moment. I'm going to cut this tape off and we'll talk about these books.
A few moments later.
Okay, got all the books out. So yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I completely forgot about a couple of these that I picked up. So yeah, those are cool. So first one here actually ended up giving to me for free. I had originally purchased it, and then afterwards he messaged me and said that the grade was lower than he thought it was, and originally had it as, and so he decided to just throw it in for free. So there's a lot of pen on the cover to this one. A kid went happy with the pen on this, but this is Green Lantern number 85. So you can see, he filled in Green Arrow's face with pen. He added a beard to Green Lantern, did some text and crossing out things on the cover. But this is still the, my ward is a junkie cover, one of the drug covers that was done in the Green Lantern title. And so for a free throw-in, I mean, regardless of condition, I felt like that was great. So I really appreciated that. So Green Lantern number 85, the my ward is a junkie, where Speedy is on drugs cover. So that's the first one. Then I'll save that one for later. The next one, this was the one that really caught my attention. That I had the sale playing over to the side while I was doing something on my computer, and I heard this title and I was like, whoa. I shot back over to my phone and I checked out the book, ended up claiming it, and this was Chilling Tales number 17. The Chilling Tales run is a tough run. You do not see books from this run come up for sale very often. And I think these are Matt Fox covers. I think that's who did these. I think the entire run. But let's see. Yeah, Matt Fox. So you can see right down there, you got his name, Matt Fox. And they're all like pretty creepy covers. And I haven't seen 17 pop up for sale very often. There's a lot going on this one. A lot of these little goblins and ghouls and everything like that. A solid enough presenting copy. I think it's a lower grade copy. I'll do the page count and all that kind of stuff. But man, when I heard Chilling Tales, I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, that is a book you don't hear come up for sale very often. And so ended up claiming this one. Thought that was pretty cool to come across in that claim sale. And that's one of those things I talk about with with Instagram and claim sales, all this kind of stuff, like if you're into something like Golden Age, you really do have to give yourself as many opportunities as possible to find some of these books, whether that's going to shows or claim sales or Facebook sales or auction houses or any of that kind of stuff, because some of these books, they just don't come up for sale very often. You never know where they're going to pop up. And I've found and purchased all kinds of stuff on Instagram. I mean like that Underworld Crime #7, that was also an Instagram purchase. All right, this next one, I have tried to pick up a copy of this book for quite some time, and I saw this one pop up for sale, ended up buying it. This is Alf #48. And this is one of those controversial covers where, I mean, it's a very suggestive cover about Alf and this seal. But this is a pretty solid copy. There's a couple little spine ticks. Let's see, on the edge here. Like there's a spine tick right here, spine tick right there. And there's like a little wear down in this corner, but overall, a very solid presenting copy of this book. And again, I'll do the whole, page count stuff and all that, but never owned a copy of this, Alf #48. This is really the only book from this run that really has any value, and it's a pretty expensive book. I mean, high grades of this book are hundreds of dollars, and so I thought this was, it was an opportunity to pick this one up. I don't actually know if they're all newsstands or not. I'll have to check, but yeah, it's a newsstand. I don't know if that's unique or if they're all newsstands for this one. But yeah, newsstand of Alf #48, controversial cover. But yeah, I saw that one pop up for sale, decided to grab it. All right, this next one seemed like a really great deal, so I decided to claim it. If you, again, follow me on Instagram, I have a really high-grade copy of one of the later issues from this run. This is a much lower grade copy, and this is Baffling Mysteries #17. Now, it is a low-grade copy, like I said. There's a lot of spine wear and all of that. But still, it's a pre-code horror book from, I think, about like 1952 or 1953. You've got this devil or demon on the cover. You've got the good girl art cover, the flames, all that kind of stuff. And so I just decided to pick this one up. When I see pre-code horror for a good price, I'm always going to grab it. And Ace Publications, who is the publisher that did this, you don't see books from Ace Publications all that often. And so I thought this was a cool one to pick up. Baffling Mysteries #17. All right, now this next one, I had actually talked with the seller prior to this live sale about this book, and we had been talking about price, and we weren't able to come together on price. And then I ended up claiming a bunch of stuff during this live sale, and so then afterwards he said, we'll take your offer on this book. So I ended up getting this book as well because of all the claims that I made during this live sale. And this is another one that you do not see come up for sale very often. This is Weird Chills #3. The Weird Chills run, I think it's just 3 or 4 issues. It might be just 4 issues, and all of them are pretty in high demand covers. They all have some pretty crazy cover content, and I talk about I like these black kind of backgrounds. I think they really make these pre-code horror books pop. This one has a lot of those elements again going for it. You've got the black background, you've got the the woman in the red dress, you've got a bondage cover, you've got some creepy monsters in the back there. So a lot going for this book. You've got a kind of like a cool store stamp that's up here. And let's check out the back cover for this one too. I think the back cover was pretty solid for this one. The main flaws for this book were really along the spine. Kind of like that reader's crease along the spine. Yeah, so oh yeah, there was a stain kind of like on the back. But I think this one, there's this kind of like whatever that stain is on the back. This one will definitely benefit from, kind of like a clean and a press. There's front cover, got some things that it could benefit from. It does have this color break that goes all along the spine. So that's really going to be the main, limiting flaw in this book. But pretty cool book, again, to come across. So I was happy to be able to pick up multiple pre-code horror books in one sale. That was, you don't always come across that stuff. And so I felt like it was a good opportunity to pick these up. And so I was happy to grab these. All right, then there were 2 more books that I picked up. And these are another 2 that I do not see pop up for sale all that often. And I would call it kind of like Silver Age horror or Silver Age monster books. And these, the first one here, I guess, is Famous Monsters of Filmland #7. And this is a magazine, and these, I like finding these if I can find them in kind of like the first 10 or so issues. You don't see those really early ones pop up for sale all that often. These aren't high grade copies or anything. You can see they've got some wear on the bottom, crease, that kind of thing. But you know, the price was right. They were a great price, and so I decided to pick them up. And so we've got issue #7, and then the other one that I picked up was Famous Monsters of Filmland #9. So just some early magazines, some early monster magazines that you just don't see come up for sale all that often. I especially don't tend to see them on Instagram live sales. He also had some later issues from the run, but I was really just mostly interested in these ones because I like getting those issues that are kind of like in that first 10, the ones that are definitely like solidly still in the Silver Age and a little more difficult to find. So those were the two magazines that I picked up. So I've actually got, I don't know if I'll get those graded or not. I'll have to think about it if I get those graded or if I'll just try to sell them raw. But I've got those. Then I've got this other one that's going to be a magazine submission as well, the Cerebus #1. I mean, the Underworld Crime #7 is definitely my favorite book that I picked up, but this one was really cool to be able to get a copy of, and a really solid, presentable copy of it as well. Like I said, just this little crease that breaks color up in the corner there, but otherwise really, really clean copy of this book. So some cool stuff. Hopefully, maybe you saw some books that you haven't seen before. There were definitely some rare books in here, but also actually had some bronze and silver in this unboxing as well. Oh, and even, I don't know, let's see, what year is that Elf from? I don't know what year Elf 48 is from. Let's get that one out. Because maybe I even had a modern book in this. But Elf 48 feels like it's probably still copper. Be a little careful with it, because it is a higher grade book. I don't want to... 1991, so right at the end, the Copper Age. But yeah, you can see how nice this book is. Really clean copy of this. So I'm going to probably move that one to a different style of bag, so I'll just leave it out there. But thanks for watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Saw some cool books, maybe some stuff you haven't seen before. Got more videos over here. If you'd like to watch some of my other videos, subscription button is right here. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. Remember to check out the sponsor of this video, Fanalytics, and I will see you in the next video.